and I'm his daughter and his business manager. And we're really excited to have everyone here for the Hidden Wonders of Nature. This is our first show at Tiburon, but we've been in the Naples area represented by the Englishman Gallery, which has been training here for over 30 years. And we also have another wonderful gallery partner, the Mary Martin Gallery from Charleston, and they've been voted the best gallery in South Carolina for the past 9 years. So we've been very fortunate to have wonderful, amazing partners. And I can tell you a little bit about my father, and he's been painting for over 25 years. There was an evolution in his work. He started very young in the 1970s. He actually had a background in architecture, which he did for a while, and then he came back to his art. But you can see here that he has a very wide range of different art, different styles, from a lot of different inspirations. And his work has been shown in the White House, embassies abroad, as well as the United States. And he's done some portraits for various dignitaries and a female astronaut as well. So he's done a bunch of different things, but he very much is inspired by his homeland of Cambodia. So you can see a lot of here, you see some wildlife. He actually traveled there recently and painted a lot of encounters he had with tigers and leopards, and so you'll see that there. But just another quick thing about tonight, some details. We'll have Tony Lombardo, who is a resident of Tiburon, who was able to sponsor the show, do some introductions, and then we'll have my father speak. And then at the end, we will have the raffle. And whoever's here and wins it will be able to be the winner. So, any questions, anyone with name tags, feel free to flag them down. I'm here to help you. Thank you.
Well, welcome everybody. I am so happy to be able to be here tonight with my Tiburon neighbors and my Naples neighbors. I just wanted to very briefly, before I introduce Pakan, just talk to you a little bit about why I collect his art and why I think his art is so important to us and to the art world. Number one, I have collected for about 25 years now, 20th century, 21st century now, contemporary art. And when I do that, I look for, obviously, technical precision, I look for composition, I look for the subject matter, I look for, painterly technique, on and on. What I really look for is what I believe is paintings or sculptures that are going to be around in 50 years, 100 years, and 200 years. That are inventive in what they're doing, that aren't derivative. And when I first saw Pakan's art, I immediately said, this is the real thing. And because of that, last year I had a small show at my house, and I had people who responded very well to his art. And so with Rita and the family, we said, yeah, let's open this up to the larger Tiburon and Naples community. So I'm so glad you guys can be here. But a couple things I also wanted to say. What specifically for me as a collector drew me to this art is I really see this as what I call Impressionism reimagined. All right, and that's the way I look at this. Because when we think of Impressionism, for those of us who enjoy different types of art, typically Impressionist art is very pastoral. It's very still life. It's a moment in time. What I found with Pakan's art is he uses Impressionism, but it's fluid. There's incredible movement. In fact, I tell people, I said, you cannot arrest these. You cannot stop them. The other thing is when you look at his paintings, like true Impressionism, when the master started this genre of painting, is what they wanted to do was not capture the camera ready or the high realistic, but they wanted to capture the emotion and the memory. So when I look at his equine paintings, his equestrian paintings, what I see there is not the perfect camera image, but what I would remember when I was standing in front of a race and the horses go past me. This is the way that our minds remember things. And in an amazing, uncanny way, what Pakan is doing is bringing that memory and allowing us to persist that memory over time. The other key point I want to make was, if you guys notice, and I encourage you as you walk around the room, to sort of lean and look across Pakan's work. He'll talk a little bit about the palette knife, but you'll notice the sculptural elements of his work. which for a painter, you can be very flat and very technically correct as a painter, but he uses, there's a lot of dimension to his paint. Now, why to me is that important as a collector? It's because when I shine my art lights down on one of the equine pieces I have, and you move that light, the painting completely changes. It completely changes. So you might have a photograph of the painting, or you might see a print of the painting, but that's the way the light was at that moment. It's not the painting. So what he has figured out is that paint is, of course, a medium, which he's using oil paint, right? And he's using his palette knife to pull the paint out. But what he is doing also is he's using light as that other medium. And by using light as the other medium, he is actually inviting all of us to participate in painting the painting. Because as we move around it, it shifts. And so an oil of Pakan's is unlike any, either a flat oil or unlike a reproduction of the work. And I just think that's exciting, that he's figured out, there's a lot of painters who try to do things with dimension, and you can sort of get this dark blob, or you get this, strange shadow, where, Pakan's very humble, but in the end, I think there's an understated genius in that, because the light, again, is creating aspects of the work. With that, I just wanted to share sort of my impressions and why I was drawn to this art and why I thought it was so exciting to be able to share it with folks. With that, I want to introduce the artist, Pakan Penn.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming. It's a great honor to be here, and I want to thank you to Tony that brought me here and everybody coming tonight. Everybody say a lot of things about me already, but I just want to repeat again. I'm originally from Cambodia. I came here in 1973. As you know, what happened in Cambodia at that time, we had the war, and then we had the Holocaust. Got several millions of people killed, including my parents. And the reason I'm still alive and standing here in front of you all, because I paint. That's why keep me alive. Otherwise, I would have been gone with everybody. I started painting, as I remember, since I was like 8. I started with pencil, color, watercolor stuff. By 12, I started using oil medium, and I paint a bunch of them, and I started to sell my work at the gift shop in Pakan Penn, Cambodia in 1973. And by that time, a lot of Americans start to come to Cambodia because the war started there, and they used Cambodia to station to fight with the Vietnam, with the communists. And one of the gentlemen from the U.S. bought my painting, and after he bought it, he tried to find who was the artist. Took him a while. By the time he found me, he was shocked that I was a little 12-year-old boy. And he took a while trying to be friends with my family and try to explain to my parents that he wanted to help me to bring me to the U.S. But my parents wouldn't want me to leave because, in Southeast Asia, art is not a profession. See, so I never get encouraged to do this. I just did this on my own, and I had to study all the time. But when the war got really worse and worse, the guy that sponsored me here, he'd be able to convince my parents to let me go. So he got me out, and when I got here in July '73, I got scholarship to corporate school of art in D.C. I didn't know much about school here. One day I just walked through the school with some of my artwork, And when they saw it, they said, "Oh my God, you are professional, why are you here?" and they put me in second year and gave me a scholarship. I didn't realize that school is very expensive. And I was working with Gene Davis. He passed away already. He's quite famous. He's painting right now in the National Museum in Washington, D.C. He kept saying the same thing. He said, "I'm a professional while I'm here." I told him I need a diploma so I can go back home. And he tried to get me to go to New York and stuff to continue my study. But by 1975, the communists took over in Cambodia and got a lot of people killed. I want to go back home, but I couldn't go back because I don't have any more passport. They don't recognize Cambodian passport anymore. So I sort of like stuck here and hang around for a while and try to work as an artist. I figured out for a while that I couldn't make a living as an artist. So I went back to school again, became a general contractor. Since I like architecture and designing and stuff, so it's become just like normal, something that I like it. So I did really well in 20 years that I never touched my brush or nothing, it's just zero. Yeah, and I quit the construction business in 2000, 2001, and a lot of people that knew me, including some of my clients in construction, encouraged me to go back painting. They pushed me so hard, so I did go back. So when I started to go back, people started to recognize my work. And I'm surprised myself that I didn't paint for 20-some years, and I started again, and I'd be able to do it better than before. I didn't have my work here 20 years ago. When I was at Corcoran, I painted a different way. A lot of my painting was darker. Now I keep painting brighter and brighter, and the color is brighter. It's completely different than I painted 20 years ago, 25 years ago. And it's different than I painted when I was a little boy. I wish I could see one of those work, but I don't know. Where I go, it's sort of like being all over the world, because I did quite a bit. People bought it, Japanese, American, French, and I love to see them someday. So it's a long story, but art is my life, and also art is keep me alive. Otherwise, I would not be here. So this continue to be my life until my day is over. I enjoy every moment of it. I started painting with palette knife since I was like 12, 13. And in Cambodia, I have to use bamboo. I don't have palette knife. I shave the bamboo really thin. I don't know how I started doing this for some reason. But so I've been working with palette knife for so long. Palette knife is very difficult to work with. Because it's not like brush, you cannot control it. So you mix the paint and hoping that's the way you go. And you start with palette knife from start all the way to finish, and you build it up little by little. Each painting can take months to years, and I do several paintings at one time, so I switch from painting to painting, give time for the other painting to dry. But with palette knife, if you could do it, the painting is more lively than do it with brush. Brush tend to make the painting really flat and not, palette knife, you have to be good and be lucky. So, yeah, when you strike on it, sometimes I don't get it, so I do it again and again and again, and until I get it right. Very rare I get it right the first time, because it's not like brush. But when I got it, I just like won't sleep for 2 days. I was so happy. And this art is sort of like in my blood. I go to sleep thinking about art. Never stop thinking about what is my next move, my next color. And everywhere I travel, everywhere I go, I just look. Because I enjoy, like, every second. No matter where I go, I look because I enjoy the color and look for new color. Because all around us every day, it's just, even on the day that there's no sun, it still create different color for me that I try to observe. And I come here, it's so beautiful, and I already got several new colors already in my head. So they'll be on the canvas when I go back, things like that. Besides everything I said already, I want to say again, thank you so much for coming tonight, and I really appreciate it. I hope this continue, and people start to recognize my work, and it made me so happy when people spot my work, they know it's Pakan work. So yeah, I sort of start hearing that a lot, and give me a lot of courage to continue, because this, when I start painting for myself, it's different, but now do this full-time professionally is very difficult. But since I have a lot of support from my friends and my family, probably I'm gonna keep doing this a little while longer. I hope to get back here someday again in the future. In the meantime, I want to say thank you again. And if anybody has a question for me, I'm glad to answer. Yes, I want to hear from you, because you are a horse.
For those of us who have spent a big part of our life standing at the rail at racetracks,
Yes.
I understand very much that painting. Tell us a little bit about what led you to that painting.
Okay, I started to paint the horse race about 2.5 years ago. Most of my painting, I like the most. I like to paint flowers, especially wildflowers. But I get hooked with the horse. A friend took me to the race course in Virginia, Melbourne. When I saw that, get me excited about horse race. I observed them, how they run, how they even how the horse, you know, when they run so hard, their saliva and their horse, their smoke cut. So when I start painting the horse race, people like it, and so I've been doing horse for about 2.5 years now.
For those of us who love horse racing, you've captured, for me at least, that explosion of energy as the race goes on, where with all the saliva, the
Right.
muscles. If you're standing at a rail,
Thank you.
at the rail, it wouldn't be any more graphic than what you've captured.
Thank you. Yeah, the hard part about horse race, when I paint, just want to make sure the horse is running. Yeah, it is true, because sometimes the horse don't run.
I've been on some of those horses.
I wish I could bring a painting that show you the difference. When you do it wrong, the horse don't run. Yeah, it is true. Yes.
Two questions. One is, have you been to a horse race since?
Yes.
Okay. And second of all, did you have any mentoring in
No.
California?
How
did you?
I think I was born like this. When I was a corporate, I did not learn a thing. It actually is boring when I was in school. Everything that I did so far is just from observation. And every single minute I'm walking around, I observe everything, people walking. You know, I always tell, but if I walk with somebody and say, did you see that? It's beautiful.
When you were young, when you were 8,
Right.
And separate times.
Yes. All I remember when I was in school, my teacher always write something on my book that you are an artist. Especially in Cambodia, it used to be under French colony, so we have all French teachers. They always say something in my science book and say, because you have to do some drawing. So they say on the side that you are an artist. But I don't pay attention. But all I remember is just I like to draw and paint stuff like that, you know. But I might not have a good memory in a lot of things, but I'm good at remember the color. If I see it, I can put it on the canvas just like that. Even last year or 2 years ago, yeah. The reason the painting look make people it's fun to look at it is just you mix the color right, and the mix is tough because I just told him a few minutes. Each painting get their own palette because since I do several paintings at a time, so I don't mix the palette because each palette just for that painting. Because since the painting is painted over and over many times, I have to remember what the color I did before. Because if I got the right color already and I mixed it wrong, but it did happen, it ruined the painting. So my daughter tried to snatch away painting from me as fast as I finished because she's afraid that I'm going to paint it over. Because for me, it just, I couldn't stop. I always see something wrong, you know, so I keep painting until I ruin it. And so now they know if it's almost finished, they want me to sign it, they take it away. and I learned not to sign it too quick before they take it away. Yeah. Any more questions?
Second, tell us how that tiger almost ate you.
Oh, that tiger is Southeast Asian tiger. They are huge and mean. I was at the zoo. Actually, the tiger is in the cage, but I happened to be there while they was feeding them. But when I got too close, he jumped at me. I was outside the cage, but knocked me out like 3-4 feet away because it's just so scary. And I got his picture, so I couldn't forget his face. The way I painted, I put him outside the cage and tried to find a place for him and his friend or whatever it is. And it took me a while to find the way I want him, position him, so both of them sort of like, you know, ready to attack somebody. The first one, he said, I'm ready. The second guy said, yeah, go ahead. You see that? But they are really, really mean animal. They're so powerful. And the first time I ever observed a tiger that close. Yes?
So you pick the colors, the palette for painting before you start the painting?
No.
Oh, I thought that's what you, like you see the colors that will go in the painting.
I never know what I'm going to paint.
Okay.
When I go down in my studio every day, I was thinking, okay, I'm going to go down and do this painting. When I start to sit down, sometimes I paint something else. The same thing with color. When I start this, I don't know what that tiger is going to be. So, you see where the green on his shoulder? Before it wasn't green like that. So each of my painting is evolving. If I didn't do this show, this painting still on my easel, I'm still painting. To me, I just keep playing, I enjoy doing it until it's hard to satisfy me. I just kept doing it, and only a few paintings and I stopped doing it. Like I said a minute ago, my daughter is good at taking away the painting from me now. But I just said earlier to another gentleman, that greenness, sometimes it is true how the foliage of the greenery of the jungle reflects on the tiger, but most of us, we did not observe it. Actually, sometimes it's really green, you know, and, but you stand far enough, you don't see that green, you see the real tiger. And it would be boring if I just would have painted a regular tiger. right? Because anybody can paint a tiger, but to come out with a color like this. Yeah.
Why did you choose something more contemporary there?
I have like one or two paintings like that at home. This when I was in Hawaii, butterfly had called me that paradise, and I painted that way because this is the style that I want to offer. I have several at home. It's completely different from what I do. This is not what I do every day, but once in a while I do that, and to me that time I thought it go with a style like that. And I have several at home style like that, really big, yeah, just to keep my memory when I was at school. And but that scene is from Hawaii. That painting. Any more questions? Yes.
With respect to the horse painting you have there, when I first looked at it, visually it was great. Secondarily, I could hear the hooves.
Oh,
The horses coming, I could hear it coming around the track.
Thank you, thank you. To do the horse leg is difficult. This is the first time I got this guy for all his leg off the ground. Normally my other did one, but this time I tried to get all of them off the ground, and I was kind of nervous first, but it turned out to be okay. To get all this thing going is just, again, palette knife. Because like I myself, I don't know what this painting gonna finish. To paint something that I cannot see ahead is the most exciting thing for me. It sort of just keep going. So even myself, I don't know what the paint is going to be end up with. I can spend all night, and then the next day I change it again. So but palette knife gives me the ability to have something come more alive than brushes.
Do you start with a sketch at all?
Rare I start with sketches. I just start, sometimes I use a little brush, sometimes I just go with palette knife. Yeah, and I just show somebody about that small painting, how the palette knife starts. And you just pick up the knife and just go. And it's fun though, you gotta try it. Okay, so enjoy the rest of the evening.